Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and since the finale for this show aired just last night, I wanted to give my thoughts and reactions to The Penguin. The Penguin follows up on Oz Cobb after the events of the Batman film, after the Riddler's bomb threats to the city worked and flooded the city. He goes and tries to make a name for himself and become the top kingpin in Gotham. Now, like I said, this is a follow-up to Matt Reeves' The Batman film, which, side note, I absolutely love. I love the noir take that Reeves put into his Batman universe. And I loved Colin Farrell's portrayal of the Penguin in that movie. And he was definitely a standout character for the brief amount of time that he was in that movie. And I was so happy to hear that he was getting his own show. But like I said, this show follows up with Oz after the events of the film, and I got to tell you, I think this is probably one of the best, if not the best show that has come on in 2024. I think this is, like, people were talking about, Shogun winning all sorts of Emmys. I think this show is going to win a whole bunch of Emmys. It wasn't entirely Matt Reeves, although Reeves was an executive producer on this show. Lauren LaFranc was the main showrunner. So I just want to tip my hat to Lauren LaFranc for putting together an amazing 8 episodes. Like, they are absolutely chef's kiss. Beautiful. And I think the 4 mains that we follow a lot throughout this series, Colin Farrell as Penguin, Christiana Milano, I believe is her last name, that plays Sophia Falcone, Renzi Felice, who plays Vic, and Deidre O'Connell, who plays Frances, Oz's mom. I think all 4 of them are probably in contention for Oscar nods. Emmy nods. But yeah, this is, I think, S-tier television, very much in the vein of The Sopranos, but in a loving way to The Sopranos. Like, this is just gangster noir. It's gangster noir, like that. And it's really, really good. I'm struggling to find words to say that, everybody else hasn't said about the series. Like, it's really, really good. Now, in my first take of trying to record this, I was going to try and go episode by episode, but I'm just going to give you some some series highlights, I should say. The relationship that Oz builds with Vic, I can definitely sense that he's trying to maybe replicate what, Rex was to him. We don't see much of the history between Oz and Rex, but my assumption is that, Oswald definitely did turn into a not necessarily a hitman, but a gangster in the vein of Rex, and I'm assuming that his relationship with Vic is kind of what he thought Rex had with, his boys that he ran around with. Sophia Falcone is definitely the standout character. In a show called The Penguin, she is definitely the standout character. In fact, her episode, which I believe is either episode 4 or episode 5. No, it's episode 4. Her episode, I think, is one of the best in the series, period. Where we see the degradation of her as, a loving daughter to Carmine, and she gets thrown into Arkham and then just goes insane. I think that's like one of the saddest things that anybody can ever watch in television, is just seeing the degradation of a human being. Like, it's really sad and really disturbing. By the time we get to episode 6, I believe. Yeah, 6. Towards the end of episode 6, it seems like Oz has everything under control. He's got his drug operation going strong. He's got the power back on in Crown Point. He's got a good relationship with his mom and Vic, but Sophia figures out where they're hiding, and she takes Francis away from Oz. Episode 7, the fight between Sal and Oz. I was not expecting Sal to have a heart attack and die. Like, I sincerely thought it was just going to be a straight up slugfest between these two, and I was thinking, oh, Oz is probably going to get some sort of cheap shot, or maybe find a stray gun on the ground and shoot Sal, go back on his word of having a straight up fight. But no, Sal has a heart attack and he dies, and I just find that so satisfying to see Oz get what he wants, but not entirely get what he wants out of it. That's so awesome. Episode 7, we get to see Oz's backstory and what happened to his brothers. They drowned in the sewer because Oz shut the overflow door on them so that they couldn't get out. He caused them to drown, and this is where kind of the element of The Sopranos comes into play, where I believe it was Tony, I think that's his name, right? Tony Soprano, where he has, for the first couple of seasons, The Sopranos really focused on Tony and his relationship with his mom, and that really gets examined in episode 7, where Oz is so much of a mama's boy that he only wants, he don't want his brothers to have his mom's affection. He just wants that all for himself. The end of that episode sees Oz's drug operation go boom thanks to a car bomb from Sophia, and Oz gets taken in by one of Sophia's goons to be confronted, which then leads us to episode 8, which is probably the only one that I'll recap because it's fresh in my mind. So we see Francis in the therapy that Rush, which, by the way, Julian Rush, Theo Rossi, also really good in this show, really good at playing a scumbag. And I should also mention Clancy Brown, also really good as playing Salvatore Maroni. He was also really good in this. Anyway, back to the recap of the finale. Francis is undergoing the treatment that Sophia had with Dr. Rush in, I believe, episode 2. Yeah, I think episode 2. Where it's revealed that Francis knew what happened to her other sons and talked with Rex to try and get Oz killed. And when they went to the club, that was going to be their last night together, but Francis made a deal with the devil and basically kept him around. Oz is brought to the jazz club that was shown in the flashbacks, and he is brought face to face with his mother. And Sophia just starts spouting the truth at both of them. Sophia telling Oz that Francis knew about him drowning their two brothers, and Sophia telling Francis that, yeah, that's what happens. He drowned your two brothers. And just as Rush is about to cut off Francis's pinky with the, I don't think it's a wine bottle opener, but it's I don't know what it is. But as soon as he's about to chop off her pinky, Francis is like, it's true. I know exactly what you did. And she basically goes off, you're a disgrace, you're a disappointment, you're the devil, and breaks a bottle and stabs him in the gut. I was not expecting her to stab him in the gut. She sees her two sons, and her other two sons, I should say, and she collapses on the ground. Oz is able to break free, is in a slight shootout with Sophia, and is able to rush his mom to a hospital and to try and get her better. Vic catches up with Oz at the hospital and says that he tried to get the other gangs to try and team up with them, but to no avail. In fact, the gangs meet up at the Falcone estate with Sophia saying, the first one to bring me Oz gets control of Gotham. And one of the lower henchmen of the Die Low, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but is like, hey, you were right. We need to do something, and we need to do something fast. And so Sophia is all confident. She decides to take all of her father's remaining clothes, pours alcohol on them, sets the bedroom on fire. In fact, sets the whole house on fire, and is heading to the airport. And when she hears the word that Feng Zhao has got Oz, and so they meet up at the airport, and the lower henchman guys kill off the head honchos, and Oz has got Sophia. In fact, all of the henchmen from all the other families are taking out the heads of the families, and basically a new reign of Gotham criminality is starting. Oz takes Sophia out to a bank overlooking from behind the scenes video. It says that the bridge that he takes her to is the Elliott Bridge. It oversees the Elliott Bridge. And it appears as though Oz is going to shoot Sophia, but Oz went to go chat with Councilman Haiti, who was the person Oz talked to and tried to convince to turn the power back on in Crown Point. The cops show up and arrest Sophia after Oz gave a whole bunch of bullcrap to Councilman Haiti about Sophia. He partially told the truth, not the full truth. He partially told the truth, and Sophia ends back up in Arkham Asylum with Julian Rush back in there. He delivers her mail and says that a one Selina Kyle sent a letter, and I just find that very interesting. I do believe that we are going to get a Hangman Catwoman team up at some point. Oz finds out that his mom is now in a vegetative state because she had a stroke. And so now she's just in a vegetative state and can do nothing about it. He and Vic are talking on a bench overlooking a river, and Oz says the one thing that's about family, it is your strength, but it also can be a weakness. And he proceeds to choke Vic out. I knew Vic was not going to last the whole season, but I did not expect Oz to be the person to kill him. After all that they had been through, I was expecting that he was going to get, gunned down by, Sophia or maybe one of the gang members or something like that. But no, Oz dealt the choking blow, as it were. And I just found that so sad for Victor. He eventually, Oz, in almost his full form, he's wearing the big coat, wearing the tux and all that stuff. He does eventually get his mom that view overlooking the city in a penthouse, and she does shed a single tear. And Eve, The woman that Oz was, sleeping around with for a while is dressed very, very similarly to Oz's mom, and basically says all the things that Oz wanted to hear from his mom. You did it. Good job. I'm proud of you, my boy. All that stuff. And Oz is like, there's nobody that can stop me. And we pan out from the hotel as we see the bat signal be lit. And that's just the recap of the finale. I went through some highlights and some other episodes, but yeah, this show is definitely worth a watch. Many people say that, superhero stuff is, played through. I don't think so. With stuff like X-Men 97, Deadpool and Wolverine, this, Agatha All Along, and they just dropped a trailer for What If Season 3, and I know people are excited about Daredevil Born Again. Like, superhero stuff is not going to go away in the slightest. And this is just another shining star in the pantheon of great superhero stuff. So yeah, Penguin is definitely a must watch. I'll catch you guys next time.